Are you ready? We're going to be doing another Retell lecture. My name is Melinda. I'm from Queensland in Australia. Okay, so a Retell lecture, what do you need to do? You need pen, you need paper. On your paper, you need to write down TDM, SPC, letters under each other. That's going to help you take notes. We'll review that very quickly in a moment. You're going to have a few seconds, sound will begin, you're listening, you're taking notes, TDM, SPC, then you get a few seconds and you need to begin speaking. You should speak for between 30 and 40 seconds, somewhere in there. You've already got your notes, you've got your content, so when you're speaking, you're doing your very best with the content. However, you want to focus on your fluency. That means you're not speaking too quickly, you're not speaking really slowly, you're not having lots of ums and ahs. So you're going for that fluency, continuous speaking. You can breathe, pause at the end of a sentence. So relax. Imagine you're telling someone about what you just heard. What would you say? What would you tell them? So that's what you're doing. Don't panic about it. Go for the fluency. So you're going to see a picture on the screen. What's it going to be about? Well, this looks like maybe Japan. Is that Mount Fuji? Cherry blossoms, perhaps? So you've got a few seconds to look at that. You've already written on your page TDM, SPC. You've practiced those. You know what they mean. Each one stands for a word. Talking about, discussed, mentioned, said, pointed out, and concluded. And then you turn that into a series of sentences. The speaker was talking about, what did you hear? What's the main subject? She discussed one point, then she mentioned another point, she said. And so you're going through your notes using this structure. And the purpose of using a structure like this is that it's going to help you to speak more fluently, because you're not thinking about, should I say this first or should I say this? Should I drop this? Is this important? How did I begin the last sentence? How do I begin this one? You're not worrying about any of those things. You're just saying each of these in the order, joining them to your notes. Off we go.
Japan is a current world power and has given us significant cultural contributions over the years. Its first human inhabitants can be traced back over 30,000 years. Its relationship with China and Korea, which goes back thousands of years, remains complicated in the present. When we think of Japan, we might think of the bright lights of Tokyo and its famous multinational companies like Nintendo, or famous dishes such as sushi. But Japan has a rich and complex history and culture that requires our attention. For job seekers in a global market, understanding nuances in Japanese culture and current events could go a long way to help international companies create and maintain relationships with the country. In the Muromachi period, Japanese arts like flower arranging, drama, and the tea ceremony took shape. As the rulers changed, Japan experienced periods of division and reunification, adopted new religions like Buddhism, and experienced peace and civil war. During the Taisho period, Japan pushed China for political concessions and, during the Showa period, experienced World War II. Today, the country influences much of the world along with its Korean and Chinese neighbors.
How did you go? So the aim is to be on topic. You needed to be talking about Japan and you needed to go for that fluency. Okay, so these were my notes. The speaker was talking about Japan. He described how the culture goes back 30,000 years. Okay, so I've written notes. That enables me to fairly easily say some sentences related to the topic. Now, the quality of your notes will determine what your listening score is. So if your listening's not great, your notes won't be great, but your fluency can still be good. So once you've got your notes, you've done your best already with that. Now you're going for the fluency. Okay, this is the actual test. You can You can pause the video and read through that if you like. I've highlighted things that maybe you wanted to pick up in your notes. Okay, and we'll have a listen to an example. Okay, let's go. The speaker was talking about Japan. He discussed how the culture goes back 30,000 years. Next, he mentioned that it has a strong relationship with China and Korea. He said that it has a complex history and culture, and that it is important for international companies to understand this. Then he pointed out that they have a range of arts, including the tea ceremony and Japanese drama. Finally, he concluded that, along with Korea and China, Japan influences a lot of the world. Okay, now importantly, you might have had slightly different notes, but you might still get full marks for it. So none of us can get all of the information, so you're just pulling out information that you understood or that you thought was interesting and relevant, and we'll all make slightly different decisions on that. Perfectly okay. You can get 90, I can get 90. Okay, and the scoring. So if you've recorded yourself, you need to go through and evaluate. So how is your content? Are you happy with your content? What are the other two categories? So fluency, and this is so important. Was it smooth? Did you speak fluently? And then your pronunciation. Could a native speaker understand you fairly easily? And what are your stress patterns like? And of course, to improve your stress patterns, you need to do lots and lots of listening. Good place to listen is TED.com. So lots and lots of talks by native speakers and near native speakers. You only need to listen to a couple of minutes of them, and you can use them then as retell lectures as well. Okay, good job.